Here's Kenny Cunningham on Fabinho from earlier in the week. Liverpool fans are not happy with it.
The biggest question for me, though, and I know obviously Liverpool supporters won't be shouting and screaming at me, is Fabinho's position in that holding midfield position. I'm not totally convinced. He's a very good player, don't get me wrong. We're not arguing here, is he good or bad player. He's a very good player, very talented, very good all-rounder player, very good at possession, distribution's very good. But as a purely defensive midfield player, going into this game there against Manchester City, that holding midfield player now needs a very specific skill set to cope with the problems that kind of Silva and De Bruyne are going to give you in those inside channels. You've really got to be switched on defensively. You've got to sense danger. You've got to slide across the pitch, make tackles, track runners, just sense danger every 5-10 seconds. And for me, that's not the strongest part of Fabinho's game. And if you actually look at some of not a significant number of goals that Liverpool have conceded this season, it's down to kind of Fabinho's kind of just lack of alertness, not kind of sense and danger, and at times not having the leg power, lads, to get across the pitch and snuff out danger. If you think back to the Chelsea Kante goal against Chelsea, Kante just waltzed by him in centre midfield, just couldn't run, couldn't move his legs. I'm thinking to the Leicester goal at Anfield a couple of weeks ago. Perez, I think it was, just got in behind him, ball played in behind him, got toward, played in Maddison for the goal, didn't see the danger. Even the Arsenal game, the Tottenham game, last week, when Tottenham broke early in the game, Fabinho was the man who missed the first tackle in centre midfield when they broke and won back possession. It was a lazy tackle, and then his recovery wasn't quick enough. So small things like that matter in games like this, particularly against Manchester City.
Yeah, Kenny Cunningham there at his thoughts on Fabinho during the week. Phil Thompson, good morning to you.
Good morning. I'm sorry, I'm just laughing so much. Oh my goodness! What? Sorry, I didn't get it. You said Kenny Cunningham. Did you finish it? Barcelona coach, Real Madrid coach. He obviously has picked out a couple of incidents there, and I do take it he's probably done a little bit of homework, but. This is a guy, Fabinho, who's probably been rated the best holding midfield player in the country. Kante, who we've always reckoned was one, his position has changed. But Fabinho has been absolutely outstanding. And those couple of incidents, yes, I think I can remember them, and they might have got in there. But this guy is... You look at what he can do, sliding across, doing things. He does all these things, and he's got the longest legs in the world and making tackles across in that area. I think Kenny is just looking for a little bit of wind-up, I think, of Liverpool fans. Certainly he's got me wound up.
To take out the essence of what he's saying, Phil, right, his points about that, his criticism of Fabinho, and it shouldn't be lost that he has resoundingly said he's a quality player, and it's his opinion, that he doesn't sense danger enough, not the strongest part of his game, that he lacks alertness and the leg power. They're the specific criticisms, which you're saying you don't see. Is that right?
No, I don't see, because I've probably seen a lot more of him than Kenny has. And I see this, his alertness, his quickness over the ground. I'm not saying he's electric. I'm not saying he's in Kante's sort of pace, but he's very, very good, and that's what I'm saying. And with these long legs, these telescopic legs that he has, the number of challenges that I see him make, I think he makes more saving tackles in front of the back four than he does people getting past him. And I would like to think the defensive line, and I'm a central defender, sometimes I feel like the boys are playing maybe 5 yards further up this season. But it's not just that. It's the reaction when the ball goes over the top and the ball goes past them. I think that is a lot to blame for the reaction time of the defenders rather than what Fabinho's doing in front. I think Fabinho has been one of our best players this season, and a player that we can't do without. Never mind has got to sort of up his game for Manchester City.
Phil, is Kenny not making a fair point, though, that when you talk about Fabinho there, and defensively, I'm not sure you can put him alongside N'Golo Kante in terms of how he can stop play. But you touched on Liverpool's change in style and playing a higher line. That actually Fabinho is a very different player for Liverpool this season, even though he plays in that deepest role of the three midfielders in the holding role. It almost feels like he is the he's the first attacker almost. Like, he's the one who starts everything off. I was saying earlier in the week, it's like Liverpool play this sort of pinball machine, and he's the one who's pressing the button because the ball comes back, he fires it out to Alexander-Arnold or to Robertson, it's fired into the area, the ball comes out, Fabinho again picks it up. That actually, he gets a lot more on the ball now, and his main job is to start attacks rather than prevent attacks from the other side.
Guys, this is the thing which I think is an all-round player. He's improved dramatically. Is that he is, when we talk about Van Dijk, we talk about Mane, Firmino, and Salah. Maybe Salah not as much this year as the go-to men. This guy's become an important cog in this machine, and you're quite right. He's a very good footballer besides a defensive player where I believe he can make the tackles, and he's certainly very good. He's exceptional in the air as well, which is an added bonus, which Kante doesn't have. But you're quite right there. He's the one where he starts off. Sometimes the centre backs will split. He'll drop into that, making it like a third centre back, which is able to push Alexander-Arnold further forward and Robertson. And you're quite right. If it's not Van Dijk who's making those diagonal balls, it'll be Fabinho who does it. So there's a lot more to this fella's game, which has progressed from. I think I've got it right. Is that Gary Neville was comparing him a few weeks ago? He said he's one of the most improved players and the best central midfield player in the country. I think I've got that right.
Yeah, I can easily see, by the way,
I think Gary Neville's done a little bit more than Kenny, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I can easily see how those points sit alongside each other as well, by the way. But look, I'm sure it's a debate that we'll maybe know a little bit more about post-Sunday. Just in an overall sense, Phil, like, I mean, when you look at some of the comments from either side, and there's, Jurgen Klopp saying, well, this is not a title decider. Like, I can understand some of that, but at the same time, from a Liverpool point of view, like, it's easy to see how they could go ahead and beat Manchester City at the weekend. But given the run of results that they've been having, like, you look at the edging past Genk, who are like a mid-table Belgian A-League side, the late goal against Villa, they come from 1 down to beat Spurs, the United draw, the 2-1 Leicester, all the goals against Salzburg. Like, isn't that almost more of a concern from a Liverpool point of view, regardless of the result of the weekend, that actually sustaining that streak over the course of a season? At times they look like they're just hanging in.
Yeah, I wouldn't say hanging in, but I do get your point, and I've said it myself, so I can't go back on it, is that I don't feel Liverpool at times have gone out of second gear. We are sort of that good and that content that the good teams find a way of how to win games. It does get worrying where you think, you can't keep getting away with it. But we've been getting away with it for 2 or 3 years now, if that's the case, because this team's getting to a point in how they play. They can step a game up when they need to. They can certainly do it. I take exception to the Spurs game, because I thought the Spurs game was our best performance of the season. I thought it was absolutely terrific. But maybe that had something to do with going a goal behind in the first minute and having 89 minutes to put this right. Because Gazaniga had an absolute worldie that day. But as I say, I get your point, because it's not been good enough. And I've heard Klopp a few times saying, we've got to start a little bit better. We went out against Villa and we were only players. We weren't warriors. So he's looking for that little bit more in games. But at the same time, you see where Liverpool are sitting, unbeaten this season, just a 1 draw and all those wins. Liverpool are finding a way. And all the great teams that you look at, even when I played, the great Manchester United sides that were winning the leagues. How many times last-minute goals? It doesn't go down to just luck. There is something special about your team and what you're creating. And that's what this team is good at the moment. Yes, I totally agree. I would like to see us be a bit more. The game against Genk, the game against other teams, we're not being as clinical in our finishing as we should be.
Yeah, and I think the statistics are incredible for Liverpool. I think at Anfield, the last 6 times they've gone behind in a match, they've gone on to win the match. So you would generally talk about character of a team in that sort of situation. And Phil, looking at that last month and the amount of late goals that Liverpool have scored in the final 20 minutes to go on and win matches and claim the point even against Manchester United, I think the games have generally had a similar pattern where Liverpool have been camped inside the opposition half for the second half and have eventually ground them down. And John Giles was saying last night, it is very similar to Manchester United in that one of the great things Liverpool do is they keep doing the same thing. They don't just start lumping it. They play the same way in the 90th minute as they do in the first minute. Against Manchester City, you can't see a situation, or maybe you can, where City are stuck inside their own half for long periods of the game. If City come and play and can grind out 50% possession, if not more, how do Liverpool respond to that?
I think City played Liverpool the biggest compliment last year when they came to Anfield, where they did sit back a little bit. I remember Kyle Walker coming on the television after the game, and he says, we had to change. And him, and I don't know who the other fullback was, but we were told to stay further back and not venture forward. And I think that will probably be the same thing, because Pep came before and he had a go, and which is this Manchester City team are absolutely wonderful. I love watching them play, and they can absolutely destroy teams. But that was a massive compliment. Will he do the same again? I would probably think so, because he's seen how Liverpool have struggled against a very, very low block unit, which allows Liverpool to have the ball and keep possession. And you have to try and sort of tire teams out. And maybe because Mo Salah's not been at it as much as Firmino and Mane, maybe that's why we've been lacking that little bit of creativity around the box to break teams down that we have. And it might be a little bit like that against Manchester City. They may sit back and look to hit us, because they have got unbelievable pace on the break. Liverpool are going to have to be aware of that. And we've shown that we can struggle. This will be a Liverpool team, I believe, on Sunday. You heard Jurgen Klopp. I haven't heard him speak like that. He did an interview with Jeff Streves of Sky. How much we're looking forward to this game. Everybody's looking forward to it. We're all ready, and it's one of the great games. And I haven't heard him speak like that all season. So Liverpool will be up for it. Liverpool will be ready, and I think that's why we'll see another great Liverpool performance this weekend. I think City, being the team they are, I just think they're absolutely one. I hope it's a great game. I really do. I hope it's one of those games where it's attack, counter-attack, defence. You see every concept of a game on Sunday. I think it'll be brilliant if it does.
Yeah, it's definitely got all the makings of being a great game, and like as you rightly say, one of the great fixtures in world football. How far is this fixture off being more important to Liverpool fans than the United game?
Do you know what, guys? I was actually thinking that. You know, when I was listening to the Jurgen Klopp thing, and he wasn't like that before the Man United game. And obviously, my biggest game, I'm a local lad, and my biggest game this season is Everton, the derby match. Then it's Manchester United. Manchester United has always been a massive game, and you see the build-up to it that you guys get. Everybody gives it. But this Manchester City team, where it's going, and if they keep spending the zillions that they've got on players to keep themselves at the top of the game, I think the rivalry could match something like that. If we stay at the top the way we are, obviously Pep will need to stay for many years, and Klopp will need to stay. I believe they're so important to both sides, and it could become that sort of a challenge for both sides.
And City to win, obviously, Phil.
Pardon?
City to win.
You're joking after all, just what I've said. No, I do fancy Liverpool, and I'll look forward to having a chat with Ivan after we've beaten City on Monday. I'm going for a 2-0 win, and believe it or not, on Sky Bet, I've gone for Mo Salah to score the 2.
All right, because he's the least effective from a goal perspective than all the forwards on the show.
And he's going to come alive.
Phil, thanks a million. Enjoy the game.
My pleasure, guys. And I hope the game's a great game. Good luck, and say hi to Kenny for me.
I'd say you'll be hearing from him.
I don't know what that means.
We'll pass on your number.
I don't know what that means. That's sort of, hey, say hi to Kenny.